While everybody is out there panic buying and getting ammunition and toilet paper and cleaning supplies, what are some preps you can get right now that aren't affected by panic buying at all? Stick around for the rest of the video. I'm going to share some preps that I've been acquiring during this next round of panic buying that aren't affected by it and are still easy to get. Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper, and today we're going to talk about how we're on round 2 of panic buying, and there's still preps out there you can acquire to help your inventory grow that aren't affected by the panic buying at all. I've been out shopping and buying some new equipment with the thing in mind of not wanting to participate in panic buying at this time. We're on round 2 of new lockdowns and new restrictions, and people are going out, and you've seen empty aisles in grocery stores all over the country when it comes to toilet paper and all the paper goods and the cleaning supplies and all the stuff we saw back in March. It's happening again. But you're prepared. We're preppers in this community, and we don't have to go out and panic buy the same way as everybody else, I assume, correct? Hopefully we all learned from March. So if you're not out buying toilet paper and you're not out buying all these cleaning supplies and you don't need ammunition necessarily, hit the subscribe button below because we want to keep this community growing so there's less and less of this stuff happening in the future, okay? So I decided, well, I'm still going to keep prepping. I'm still going to keep getting more items to add to my prep inventory to make sure I'm more well-rounded when it comes to overall preparedness. However, I don't want to spend the money or time hunting for all these things that I know are overpriced or are hard to find or are just in short supply. So that being said, I decided to share some of the preps that I've been working on with all of you that are still affordable, easy to acquire, and unaffected by panic buying, so that way you can keep growing your inventory without being worried about what's happening around you in the sense of all the craziness, okay? So one of the first things that I wanted to showcase that I can tell you is always going to be important to have, and is definitely something that you can still acquire right now very easily, is going to be cookware, specifically cast iron cookware. I recently went and picked up a cast iron griddle, which is excellent for using it on like an open flame over a campfire or any kind of a heat source, honestly, where this cast iron griddle will get super heated and you can use it to grill things, you can use it to flip it over and cook things like eggs or pancakes or whatever you want. But it's just good to have more cookware. Cast iron is never going to go bad. As long as you keep it seasoned properly, it's going to last you forever, and it's something that's not a bad investment because we all know eventually we might be cooking in a different way than what we're used to right now, especially in some kind of a grid down scenario. So cast iron cookware, excellent investment, still something you can get right now, not affected by panic buying, okay? Throw that down here. So one of the next things I wanted to mention that I'm acquiring right now and has been quite a process for me, and it's something that maybe you struggle with the same way I do, but it's acquiring footwear, okay? I've been going through the gambit of trying to get a good pair of boots lately, and footwear doesn't seem to be as affected by panic buying as some of the other items that are out there that we know people are buying right now. But one of the problems is that finding the right pair of boots is kind of difficult if you've ever had to go through that gambit. I wear a size 15 boot, so that's not the easiest thing to find. Luckily, I have been abusing Amazon Prime Wardrobe and being able to send boots back and forth between them for free without having to commit to a purchase until I find the right pair. And that's actually something that I suggest all of you do if you aren't sure what you want. Even if you want to end up spending your dollars somewhere like a local store or at your mom and pop shoe store that's nearby or something like that, you can abuse Amazon Wardrobe and actually try on as many pairs of boots and shoes as you want as long as they qualify, and then send them all back and not ever spend a dime with them. So that's what I've been doing until I finally settled on this pair of Danner Vital hunting boots. They're 400-gram insulated, awesome hunting boots that fit me really well and are very comfortable. I'm always trying to get more boots that I can wear outdoors, take out hiking, or I can at least rely on in case there's ever a situation where I can't acquire more shoes. And especially if you're in my situation where it's size 15, it's not like I'm gonna just randomly run upon a bunch of size 15 shoes post SHTF, correct? All right, so definitely something you can invest in. Amazon Wardrobe, abuse it, go for it. It's been working out for me, and I found this pair of boots after trying on about 4 others, so why not, okay? So the next thing that you can buy right now and you can invest in and keep your prep inventory growing without worrying about panic buying of any kind is cordage. So more paracord. You can always have more paracord. 550 cord is an amazing thing to have. Of course, you can go further and get like Titan survival cord and things like that. But you know, if you want to save money and you want to keep it easy, the 550 cord, these are 75-foot bundles of 550 that I got for $4 a piece at my local hardware store. Nobody's buying a ton of paracord right now, but we all know that it's very important for survival and for any kind of an outdoor situation to have as much cordage as you can in a reasonable fashion. It can come in handy in multiple ways, and it's just an extremely useful, versatile item. So buy more cordage, get your paracord, easy thing to get now, not affected by panic buying, okay? So after that, I went ahead and started getting into more water filters, but I wanted to try something new, and water filters is something that you can always get more of. It's always good to have in your go bags, it's good to have on your loadouts, it's good to have everywhere because you need to make sure you can drink water frequently. Obviously dehydration sets in quickly, and safely. You want to make sure the water you're drinking is not going to hurt you more than it helps. So that being said, I just picked this up, which is actually a new product. It's called the Rapid Pure. It's a water purification straw. It works very similarly as a Life Straw or a Sawyer Mini in the straw functionality setup. And what's cool about this Rapid Pure is that it actually has virus protection, which most of the other small filters do not. The other filters filter out 99.9% of just about everything except for viruses because they don't have some kind of charcoal activation within the filter. Well, this one does, so it actually will filter out viruses. So if you're worried about a contaminated water source, especially in the time of a pandemic, you know, this is something we can learn from at least right now, that if you're worried about what might contaminate the water you're about to drink, something like this could actually be a better option than per se a Sawyer Mini. The only issue is that this will only filter up to about 25 gallons of water and make it pure from viruses before it becomes ineffective. And that's okay because 25 gallons is still a lot, it can get you pretty far, and if it's only being used to access water that seems contaminated or dirty and you don't want to take the risk, well, 25 gallons still goes pretty far. So it's a new water filter. I'm gonna actually just try it out here pretty soon to give it a shot, and just kind of want to pull the filter out here. As you can see, very similar to like a Life Straw. You throw this bob in the water, it has a straw hookup on the top, and you just drink straight out of the water source. Or of course, if you have like an Nalgene bottle, you can drop it right in there. So, very basic prep, but something you can still get right now, not affected by panic buying, important to have, and these new ones that actually filter out viruses might be, you know, handy here in the future, especially if there's ever a more serious situation than what we're even facing right now, okay? So, caveat, I say those things because you guys know exactly what I'm saying. Now, the other thing I want to mention about preps you can get right now, not affected by panic buying, is actually clothing. And every so often, I find weird deals on pants like this at Walmart. And I've shown these before, and then I found this deal again. So I don't know what's going on here, but every so often in their hunting section, I find $5 pairs of basically jeans. These are like camo jeans. Now they're not high-tech, you know, materials. They are cotton. They aren't going to be the best for keeping dry. They aren't going to be the best for, you know, long-term bug-out survival situations necessarily. But at the same time, for $5, more pants that you can wear that are going to be capable in the sense of just having something else to wear that's outdoor oriented and is something that you can afford easily to buy multiple pairs of is worth getting. So look for deals, especially on clothing. And when it comes to things like camo patterns, a lot of people don't want that for their everyday activity. So these things go on sale and on clearance quite often. And to get more clothing is very important. In any kind of a bug out situation, the clothes you have is going to be all you have. And that's going to be something you have to decide very carefully on. But any kind of a long-term SHTF scenario where you have to survive for long periods of time, maybe you're not going to be able to access more clothes, or maybe you can't even upkeep the clothes you have. Having additional spare pairs of pants or shirts or underwear or socks or anything like that is going to be very important, and it's something that we all lack on in our prep inventories. So find the clothing you can now, especially for good deals, and just get it. Like I said, $5 for a pair of pants that's actually a decent pair of pants and will do the job of taking care of you when you need it to, worth it. So I'm going to stock up when I can, and then we're going to go ahead and have extra clothes in case anything ever happens, okay? Remember, these are all basic prep inventory items, but things that you can acquire now, not affected by panic buying, and it makes it so you have a more well-rounded inventory. If you're only worried about the things that are affected by the shortages, such as ammunition, such as cleaning supplies, toilet paper, well, you might have a lot of those eventually, but what are those going to do for you in the long term if you don't have some of these other more well-rounded preps figured out as well? Keep that in mind, okay? Another thing I want to mention, always keep working on your first aid. First aid is extremely important, and first aid is definitely something that a lot of us could do a lot more with when it comes to training, when it comes to learning, when it comes to having more equipment. So I picked up one of these SWAT T stretch wrap style tourniquets. This is basically a minimalist style tourniquet. It's an all-in-one package, but it doesn't require any of the excess weight or any of the cumbersome utility that some of the other tourniquets have out there, like the Cat 5s. So what's cool about it is that it tucks away really easily into a pocket, into a pouch. Anywhere you want to keep one of these, you can easily put it. And then you have a capable tourniquet that is something that is very important in any kind of a blowout kit. So I just purchased another one of these to make sure that I can keep my first aid kits more well-rounded and have more and more supplies on hand. And this first aid stuff isn't necessarily flying off the shelves right now in the same sense as some of the other stuff. Yes, a lot of people might be buying first aid related items, let's say like gloves, but are they buying tourniquets? Probably not. And I found this just sitting on a shelf in the store. This wasn't something I ordered online. So just keep that in mind because these things are available and it's always a good idea to improve upon your first aid kit. I mean, it's not something that you want to slack on because when you're going to need it, it's going to be very important. Comes in this individual package. You can keep it in there if you want to keep it sterile, which is what I prefer to do. However, I do suggest at least opening one so you can actually practice with it and see how it's supposed to function. But look how easy this is to slide into a pouch, maybe that's on your plate carrier, or throw it into a backpack for your everyday carry bag that's in your vehicle. Whatever it is, it's still a great utility item to have. So these are other things you can invest in right now for your preps that aren't affected by panic buying. So why not just get them right now, right? So last thing on my list right now is going to be hand tools, specifically outdoors tools for what I'm investing in right now. I think it's good to have redundancy, it's good to have backups, and let's say there's an SHTF scenario where you have some help from the community. Maybe you have a mag or a tribe or whatever you want to call it put into place, okay? Your group needs some more work to be done. If there's not enough tools to go around, how are you going to accomplish some of those goals? So pick up additional hand tools like an axe, because honestly, you can't go wrong with axes. You got to have ways to split firewood. You got to have ways to make sure you can maintain warmth, maintain heat, and maintain the ability to cook in any kind of a grid down scenario. And an axe is going to be your best friend in that situation. So if you don't have an axe, you definitely need to get one. But if you already have one or two or four, it's never a bad idea to have redundancy because the handle could break. You could use other people's hands to help you chop wood faster. You can distribute axes among those who are in your group to try to get more work done. There's a lot of reasons why it's good to have redundancy when it comes to hand tools, such as an axe. And people aren't going out and buying 1,000 axes right now, they're buying toilet paper. So why not invest in some of these hand tools that are gonna help you survive long term in case you ever need it? And keep that in mind when it comes to things like this bow saw as well. It's very cheap. This bow saw was like $6, but this is just great for trimming tie limbs. It's good for getting rid of dead wood that's up in your trees or whatever it might be, but it's just another tool to have just in case you need it. And if you don't need an extra one, you do need an extra one because you never know what's gonna happen. And for $6, it's nice to have another saw in the garage or in the shed or even just in your room apparently that you can utilize in the future in case there's ever a situation where you gotta rely on what you can do with your hands. So, that being said, I just wanted to mention some of the basic prep items I'm working on right now that aren't affected by panic buying to make it easier for you to try to focus on other things besides what everybody else is running out to get. Because we know that if you're in this community, there's a good chance you're not needing to panic buy. You probably already have toilet paper, you probably already have cleaning supplies, you probably have a lot of ammunition. Not that we don't want more, I don't wanna, misguide you on that, but what I'm saying is that we can focus our areas of focus in other places when the time is right. And right now the time is to focus on things that aren't being swooped off the shelves as quickly or aren't necessarily overpriced. So thought I would share that with you, just some of my personal endeavors right now that might help you get some other ideas about what you can or can't do. And if you have any questions at all about some of the items here or any of the ideas about what it is I'm prepping and what I'm buying right now in comparison to the panic buying, leave it in the comments below. But I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks so much. And if you need anything else from me, magicprepper.com. Besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.